Welcome to JHart Modelworks. Join me for update number 2 on the Fujimi Dino 246 GTS Enthusiast Series. Welcome to my workbench. Let's get started. Hey guys, Justin here at JHart Modelworks. Welcome back to the channel. It doesn't feel like a lot's been done, but we do have quite a bit to talk about. But before we do, I want to go ahead and start with an apology. For weeks now, allergies have been kicking my butt, and they turned into a sinus infection, which then went to my chest and became bronchitis. I've been fighting this crap for a month now. So you're likely to hear some kind of sniffling and coughing. I will try to edit as much of that out as I can. And I'm likely to be sucking on halls all the way through this thing. But just bear with me, and we will get through this together. Also, I want to thank Tom, Rambler69, for this awesome Christmas card. My first Christmas card of the season. Thank you, Tom and Susan, for the kind words in here. On top of that, I have decided that I am going to be taking part in Charlie Mac's 80th anniversary Pearl Harbor group build. I don't have my kit yet. I have placed an order on Evil Bay, so there will be an announcement on what I'm going to be building in the future, probably closer to the end of the Dino. We'll see, but that's coming, so stay tuned for that as well. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get this turned around and get it pointed at the bench so we can go through the update for the week. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started with the body, which we do have all polished out and sanded. So all those little dust nibs are out of there. We have our bare metal foil done, which was a pain, but we got that to sit. We did go ahead and do the Ferrari script on the back, as well as we've added that piece to the back as well. We actually ended up scratch building that piece because while trying to get it off the paint, I ended up snapping the original in half, so I had to make one. I got it pretty close. There are hinges for all three of these, and I'm not sure I'm going to use them. The hinge for the front has to go way up there in the very front under here. It's going to be a pain to reach. This one, the body fit is very snug, I guess from the 2K clear. So I think it's going to be kind of difficult to work on a hinge. And then this one for the engine bay with as little opening room as there is in there, I think I'll be able to see the engine better if I just don't hinge it. So I think I'm going to leave the hinges off. We've gone in and added the drip trays to the bottom of our engine and our frunk. Need to go back in with the toothbrush and scrub the remaining polish out of here. So that's where we're at with the body. The engine we have, I would like to say 90% assembled. We did go ahead and wire that with some Rad Protect spark plug wire. I just used some of my wife's cross-stitching thread, the black cross-stitching thread, to do the ties instead of trying to do wire looms, as the wire looms for the Dino are actually circular and just wrap around, so I figured that would look better. This is not a pretty engine. It's really not. Go ahead and throw a picture up here on the screen and you will see that the entire engine is supposed to be kind of a flat white aluminum and matte black, and that's it. I decided to add some color in here. I've seen one or two cars in reference photos where they painted the valve covers, so I went ahead and did these in gold. I did the engine block in gloss black, and instead of using literally the color callouts are silver and black for this entire thing. So I went with some super silver from Mr. Color for a lot of these parts. This is sparkling silver from Tamiya's LP line. We got our orange Fram oil filter. But yeah, so that's pretty much there. We need to glue in our exhausts, and we need to assemble the air filter assembly. Speaking of the exhausts, we have our exhausts assembled and painted. These are done in super titanium from Mr. Color, and then sprayed over with some hot metal sepia from Alclad. And then after that, I hit them with some Tamiya flat clear just to dull them down. These are a pain in the ass. Fujimi wants you to assemble 3 separate pipes into a collector and line them up through here. And no matter what I did, they didn't want to line up and they didn't want to sit correctly. So what I ended up doing was taking some Tamiya extra thin to the collector and gluing everything in, getting the pipes kind of close to where I thought they should go and how they should sit, and then letting that sit for 3 to 5 minutes to get really sticky, and so they'd hold together. So after it was good and sticky, I applied some 3M double-sided tape across these exhaust outlets and kind of wiggled these into place so that they would sit where they needed to sit and were held in place by that double-sided tape. And I just let them sit there for a good half a day. They're not perfect, they are close. Time to glue them in. There's going to have to be some wiggling and finessing to get them where I want them. But they should sit fairly close to where they need to be. Then I set up the other set and let them sit half a day. So at that point, these looked terrible where they went into the connector. So what I did was I filled all these seams in with some CA glue and then hit it with some Instaset. And then set to it with sponge sanders, UMP thinny stick sanders, metal files, everything I could think of to try and get these collectors to look a little better. I think I did a pretty good job on getting those to look pretty decent. That one's not great. That one's definitely got some seams to it, but it's still a lot better than where it started. And finally, we also have our chassis painted up. This is not even, honestly, it's not even paint. This is Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black. And I'm pretty much just going to leave it there. I am thinking about hitting some of this with some Tamiya buff, as well as some silver, just to kind of create some chipping in here. Another thing I'm thinking about is doing the suspension components, because the suspension is all this same black. It's actually, they listed as H77 tire black, but it's pretty much flat black. I'm thinking about doing these in a silver, just to break it up. Just the suspension arms, leaving the tubing, the tube for the frame black, but doing just the suspension arms and the uprights in a silver, just to give a little bit more color in here. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this update. That's where we're at. The next update, we need to get our headers glued into the engine. We need to get the air cleaner assembled and get that mounted in here. And then we'll probably move on to, I don't know if I'm going to move on to the interior or if I'm going to do the suspension. So I'm looking at probably following along the instructions and working on the front and rear suspension next. Well, I think the front suspension's next. They do it all, the instructions are all whopper-jawed. They do like parts of the fronts and then they do parts of the interior, and then you'll have a step, but then you'll have like side pictures of assemblies that should be steps but aren't steps. And these are kind of interesting. It's fun though, right? So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. Also, feel free to leave comments, feedback, critique, or anything else in the comment section below. I enjoy interacting with all my viewers in the comment section and try to reply to all the comments I receive. If you want to catch future videos, please consider subscribing to my channel and make sure you click the bell notification icon so you can be notified when I upload new videos. As always, thank you for watching, keep modeling, and have a great day.